Hello ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between, my name is 𝓶𝓸𝓸𝓴𝓼. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to do this video. This is a video with a list of most favorite graphic novels I read in 2021, and in 2021 I read a lot of graphic novels. I did my best to not repeat the authors because of course I love dearly a lot of Kerascoët works as example, but it would be just a bit unfair for the other works not appear on the list because I loved everything one creator created, and everything else you can see in my endless wrap-ups which I was doing throughout the year and I will continue to do in 2022 because I didn't wrap up everything I read and I filmed majority of these wrap-ups already. I just need to edit them and publish them, and that's a big deal for me because I'm editing so slow. But anyways, let's go. And if you ask why Vlogmas is now, because Ukrainian Orthodox Christian and Ukrainian Orthodox Christmas is coming on 7th of January, and we are using Julian calendar for our religious years. So that's why now this will be week of vlogmases from me. So it's definitely much more convenient to make 7 days of vlogmas than 25-day vlogmas. So anyways, let's start. Again, no particular order. I'll just start with something very sweet and what I already talked about on my channel, and it will be my first series I read this year, and it was Love by Frédéric Brrémaud and Federico Bertolucci, silent graphic novel series about animals, about how love in the world of animals is different from what we see in cartoons and in our children books, how love is so prevalent in nature, it just expressed in a different way in a real world than what we see when we project our understanding, our human understanding of love on animals, and how their animal life is going, and it's absolutely the best. There is a 5 installment by this day in the series. It's tiger, fox, lion, dinosaur and mastiff, and all of them are just top-notch gorgeous. The art is so good. It's so good. It's so realistic. At the same time, every animal is expressing their emotions, almost human emotions at one point, but so sweet, so beautiful, and very realistic in terms of, you know, animals kill each other. It's not very graphic, but there is some scenes like this. Animal reproduce, and there are a few scenes like this in Lion where on the background you can see some elephants doing their thing. But again, it's probably will not be suitable for really young kids, but in general for adults and for those who love art, it would be, I think, a really great present and a really great installment into your graphic novel collection, because graphically and also plot-wise these books are perfection, I think, because also to make plot so engaging and so interesting, it without using any word, and for the reader to understand every situation and every location and everything that's going on, and to sympathize and to feel empathy and to feel some sort of way in general without any single word is a big deal, I think, and I understood this year. That's why I'm reading graphic novels, because they are able to convince a message without using a single word in some cases, in case of silent graphic novels. And this vlogmas you will probably get a video why I love silent graphic novels, why I think they're so important for the world and for the education, why we should support it, and why we should buy from the authors who are writing and drawing silent graphic novels. So it's a bit of a spoilery thing about what you can expect from this vlogmas alongside with other types of videos. Of course, if you see now best books I read in 2021, there will be worst list as well. I will be dressed in black there because no red is deserved by those nasty, naughty books, but this one is a good guys list. So that's the first series I loved. And I also noticed when I was choosing books for this list that I was saying I really don't like to read series, but almost all of books on this list are series, like the part of series, and That's strange. Maybe I need to read more. Probably I need to, because I probably enjoy being with certain characters for a longer period of time, especially if I love the characters. And speaking of the characters, an amazing character design, an amazing character work, and character arcs, the second most favorite series of 2021 is Fans by C.S. Pacat, Johanna Joanna LaFuente, and Jim Campbell. Ooh, I was talking about this series in 2 videos at this point, in a wrap-up where I was, for the week, I was reading these graphic novels. There's just 4 installments by now. Also, in the mid-year freak out tech, which I posted in November, and I'm still not ashamed about it. And even it was not mid-year at any point, but that's my editing process. I was just delaying and delaying posting it, and that's how it turned out to be. But I was praising it many times on my channel already, many times, 2 times, it's not many. And the next series that I will mention will argue with me. And this graphic novel just impressed me so much with the variety of characters and the way it played with tropes and stereotypes about male-on-male romance, and some, you know, again, tropes that you can usually see in romance, such as grumpy and sunshine, love trope, or they were roommates, or, you know, all of this, like, competitors trope, all of these tropes some people love, some people hate. You can definitely see both. If you have very strong opinions on some tropes, you can see both in this graphic novel, but I definitely think that it's worth the read, even if you are not a big male-on-male romance fan. It's very slow burn, and it's so slow that at 4th issue we're still not even close to a kiss. We're still looking at each other. So I enjoyed it a lot. Maybe that's what I love in books in general, and slow burn just keeping the flames in me. So maybe I need to read more romance with slow burn. I'm also making this conclusion after putting this one into favorite books of the year list, but it definitely has its place here because perfect character development and perfect character design, really nice art, and a lot of funny jokes. I was really laughing looking at the pages and laughing out loud. I was shy to look sometimes. I was so rooting for the characters, and I think it's really cool when graphic novels and books in general evoke such deep and sincere feelings in you that you can react emotionally to them and speak with them and gush about them and fangirl about them. I think that's the best feeling in the world, and that's honestly why I read books. And speaking about this feeling, I felt it one more time with another series about a teenage boy from not far away future, I would say 21st century, but maybe 100 something years ahead of our time, who is trapping into the prehistoric times and finding, oh, I shouldn't say what he's finding there. He's finding there a lot of prehistoric people and a lot of really funny and such enjoyable adventures. It's a story named Franck by Olivier Bocquet with art of Brice Cossu, and it's a French story in 7 issues that are presented by now, but I feel like there will be a continuation to this, even though the 7th issue kinda given us a final touch to it, but it's at the same time leaving us at a place where, you know, it can be such an open final to the series, or it can be just another good installment and we will get more sooner. But I think the 7th issue was issued the 7th installment was issued in 2020, and I hope in these few years maybe they worked on something else and they will continue this because it was so good. So it's basically a story about time traveling, and when I was saying in previous point about fans that 2 are not many, some characters from this book, some prehistoric people who didn't know how to count and who Frank, the main character from the future, was teaching how to count, will disagree with me because they had a lot of problems with vowels, with counting, with a lot of things, and Frank learned so much in this journey and they learned so much in this journey. It was a story about found family, about time traveling and time loops. It was a story about prehistoric world period. I love this time, and I understand also I just love dinosaurs because there is some dinosaurs also, even though it's not very historically accurate. But again, first of all, we don't know much about prehistoric time, to be completely honest, compared to other times in history we can study more thoroughly, but also because it does not meant to be very historically accurate. There are also some historical inaccuracies, like before Frank coming into the world, like into the prehistoric time with this time traveling kid, he found accidentally prehistoric people doesn't know how to pronounce vowels. I mean, it's definitely wasn't the case, but it is in this book, and it was just made for the sake of entertainment, for the sake of humor. Jokes were really funny. I was cracking up looking at the page, and I think it's also a common denomination for some of these books, that I just was laughing out loud, and they made my mood so much better. I think I read all of the 7 installments in a few days because I just couldn't keep myself from reading it more and more. I would say the first installment was definitely the weaker one for me because I was still figuring out if I like it that much, and when I figured out I loved it, then it was done. Just made me so happy. I don't know, the stories, the characters, again, characters arcs and plot twists, it was very plot twist heavy. I didn't guess any of it, and maybe if you are a very experienced reader when it comes to time traveling and it's one of your favorite themes in books, maybe you will guess more than I did, but I was just so excited about this one, and every time I discovered some new twist and turn in the plot, I was, you know, stunned by it. So definitely something to share, and I would recommend it highly. Speaking about ancient ages, I also read Age of Reptiles by Ricardo Delgado, also a series about prehistoric era, but now silent graphic novel with dinosaurs, and ooh, that was so good. That was so perfect. There are 4 primary works: Tribal Warfare, The Hunt, The Journey, and Ancient Egyptians, and I read all 4. Plus I read like 1 or 2 short stories, but basically not stories because it's silent graphic novels, like panels with art, with sequential art. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And it was absolute magic for me. I loved how Ricardo Delgado was doing it, how he convinced the story and made you very immersed into this prehistoric world. Definitely something I would say to read for everyone, because first of all, sure, it's short. I mean, it's not short maybe by the page count, but it definitely reading much easier than graphic novels with words or books, because it's silent graphic novels, right? It doesn't have any text in it. So also the stories are just told in a perfect way, you know, just the juicy details and a very good character development in dinosaurs. I mean, literally we can follow some dinosaurs from their birth to their death, and easily getting inside of the story, you kind of imagining yourself among these huge animals who are not speaking, but they are speaking kind of in their own way. And after that, when I was going to sleep, I was imagining myself in this world, sometimes as a dinosaur, sometimes as a human who just trapped there, and it's so scary actually to imagine how big they were. Gosh, like, I was just so excited about it, and I'm still very excited, and I still think that I would say if I was made to do like top 1 the most like favorite, the best book of 2021, I would say that's Age of Reptiles series. Again, I was told to say one book and I'm staying serious, but you know, this work, this body of work of Ricardo Delgado, I think it's the most noticeable in my reading year. But let's go to another silent work, a bit different because it will be this kind of weird silent graphic novel slash comics slash conceptual art album slash your weird fever fantasy slash nightmare turned live. Ooh, that was Pim and Francie, The Golden Bear Days by Columbia, and my god, I love to live in a real world where there's someone like Columbia who is delivering me such golden things, like such treasures, but I would prefer not to go inside of their head. But anyways, it felt like he was in my head, because gosh, was this reminiscent of my nightmares? Yes, it was. It was such a strange read, and it wasn't even a read completely. There were no words. Again, it was a silent book, but it wasn't an art collection, not like, you know, an album of an artist or something. It was about these two characters, Pim and Francie, and they are very cruel, very gruesome, very gory adventures. There are a lot of disturbing images. It's definitely adult book, and there are definitely a lot of things you wish you would never see, but I saw them, so I recommended them to you. Actually, I'm not recommending this to anyone, to be serious, because I think it's a very specific type of aesthetic, and it was scary for me, legitimately scary, and at the same time so addictive and so attractive. I don't know how else I can describe this book. There's no plot. There are just some short stories and some full panels of art, and some of these short stories have sense and have a resolution and some kind of a plot, and some of them doesn't have, and some of them are unresolved. It was a wild ride, and I enjoyed every second of it. Speaking about wild rides that I enjoyed regardless of everything put inside of it, I also loved Beautiful Darkness by Fabien Vehlmann, and with illustrations of Kerascoët. I actually read quite a few Kerascoët illustrated books and quite a few Fabien Vehlmann written graphic novels as well, but this, among everything, this was probably the best or the most impressive for me. I wouldn't tell you the plot, because the plot basically will probably ruin your first impression of the first few pages, which it would ruined it for me if I knew the plot when I started reading it. I just knew it was super strange. I just knew it was a graphic novel, perfectly illustrated, but very dark, and as a Beautiful Darkness is a perfect name for it, I think. It's a story about survival. It's a story about cruelty of human nature, but it's not a story for young children and for young adults, I would even say. It's very heavy in violence. It's a very scary story, but I enjoyed again every second of it, and I'm afraid to go back this year, because sometimes when I'm open book illustrated by Kerascoët, I'm getting like sucked into this book. I feel like I'm on the pages and something can happen with me and I'm not returning back almost. But in this case, I don't want to be in this world which is drawn in Beautiful Darkness, but I kind of feel myself there anyways. And I think it's a very great opportunity to have, to experience as a reader, but maybe I'm just very easily impressed, but oh, this world scare me and attract me at the same time. And speaking about something really attractive, I find Alison Bechdel very, very attractive. First of all, by her appearance, and then, of course, by her mind. Are You My Mother, a comic drama, and another memoir about Alison Bechdel family. I enjoyed it so much. It was so rich in thoughts and analysis and Some thoughts I didn't agree with, some thoughts I loved, some thoughts I wrote down, some thoughts I reflected upon or for a few days, and it was definitely a longer read for me, not just because it was a lot of text. I mean, definitely it wasn't a silent graphic novel, but it was rich. It was so interesting for me to read and expose myself to different opinions and different ideas. I loved it. I wouldn't even say it was important for me as a part of memoir about mother and motherhood itself, because I did not face the same problems Alison Bechdel did, but I definitely would recommend it as a reflection piece, because she was so reflective. Like in every page you can find deeper meaning, and you can connect this idea with that one and with the general purpose of the memoir as well. And I was just swimming in these layers of the meanings, and I was enjoying my swim, and I came out of it completely wet. We are cutting this out. How's it gonna know? They're gonna know. Anyways, that was a great read. Wrapping it up with another series I didn't finish yet. That was Spera, with a plot by Tierney and art by everyone in this world and their mom. It was an amazing project about two girls, two princesses of two kingdoms, rivalry kingdoms, who are escaping their respective kingdoms to go seek adventure and safety in the bigger world and traveling together. One of them, I would say, is very ESTP, and another one is very INFP. So it's like polar opposites that attract each other. Perfect story of friendship, and maybe something more if you ship them. Friendship with also a fire demon who is taking image of a huge dog or a huge red-headed man, depends on the situation, who is accompanying them in this journey, and also fat warrior cat, who I loved so dearly, and their adventures together. They're fighting demons and monsters, a lot of witchcraft and a lot of magic, and a lot of funny adventures. And again, I was laughing out loud at some stories, and why I was calling it project at the beginning of this little review is because it's literally a project of Tierney, who create the plot, but the chapters are drawn by different artists. It was perfect. That was definitely what I wanted. And you know, this phrase very popular in especially young adult literature, she relieved the breath she didn't know she was holding. And this book was definitely this for me, but in a good sense. Like, I found something I didn't know I was searching for. That's kind of pathetic phrase I would use for it, but it would be very accurate in my case, because it definitely something I enjoyed so much, just so much. I needed this. I needed every chapter of everything illustrated by different author, and it would make many boring graphic novels I read this year so much more enjoyable. It was so enjoyable. I loved to discover new artists and their art styles. I loved to see how the set character design that was created by one artist and that other artists have to stick to in terms of hair length and clothing was interpreted in different styles of different artists. And if you are a fan of the small Instagram or, you know, social media period pictures of, you know, I'm drawing Naruto in different styles, like in Disney style, in my style, and style of that artist, and style of this character, it will be definitely a story for you, because it was so enjoyable, not only because the plot was engaging and the humor was there, and you know, this energy between the characters, they were feeling like real people who have real problems. And I would really kill for another work like this. If you know something like this, a project or the graphic novel that is done in that way, I would be so gladly appreciating and taking note on these advices and recommendations. I would gladly read something else like this again. And I'm very happy that I didn't finish the series yet, because I'm kind of prolonging my enjoyment. I read first 3 volumes of Spera, and there is, I think, 3 more to go, because I was visiting the official website of this project, which you can, in the description box there are always links to the Goodreads pages of books I'm talking about, because I don't have affiliate links yet. You can see the number of subscribers on my channel, you can see why. There will be also a link to the official website of Spera. Here I saw they are already done with the 3rd installment of kind of a branch of a series. So this, the first 3 installments in the series is the initial story of the princess going on an adventure, and the next 3 installments are about princesses, I think, returning back and gaining their power in their kingdoms and becoming the rulers of their kingdoms, as far as I understood from the descriptions. But I was trying to not read into it too much. I'm trying my best to avoid the spoilers. Of course, I had some artists I liked much more. As example, it was just a surprise for me that Emily Carroll was also a part of this project, as in she illustrated 1 chapter from the first installment, and it was so great for me to see her there. I didn't need to read her name, I just saw her art style, the way she drew hands and legs, and I understood just straight away that it's Emily Carroll. Then again, I had some artists that whose art I didn't enjoy as much as others, but it was not a problem in this case, because I knew that this chapter will finish soon and another one will be from another artist. Thank you so much. What am I talking about? Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I see you in tomorrow's video, which will be about the first books. And I'm so happy to say you Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Winter, get warm, get cozy. I'm kissing you. Bye.